we look at the Middle East, I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
Britain doesn't sell a huge amount of arms to Israel, but it does sell important arms, very important arms to Israel. But the importance of Israel in the whole arms nexus, the arms market, is clear. Israel is the watchtower, the watchdog, if you like, of US, British, Western so-called interests in the Middle East, keeping the Middle East permanently unstable.
This is the last phase of European colonization. And notice that the countries that are most strongly in support of Israel are not just the United States. It's the United States, Australia, and Canada. The offshoots of England, Anglosphere sometimes called, unusual forms of imperialism. These are settler colonial societies, societies in which not like India, not like the British and India, the societies are a little like these, or Algeria under the French. Settler colonial societies in which the settlers came in, essentially eliminated the native population.
I just think throughout history, the Jews have been persecuted, obviously, from the Holocaust, and we were granted Israel as a result of it.
Granted by whom?
From Britain and other countries granted us that.
Well, what right did Britain have to grant you somebody else's country?
Well, it's due because we lost 6 million people.
No. I'm not arguing about that. I'm going to come on to that. What right did Britain have to grant you somebody else's country?
Well, they were basically gave us because of the
But they gave you somebody else's country. That's the point I'm making, Alex. Can you deal with it? Britain granted you somebody else's country. I'm asking you, what right did Britain have to grant you somebody else's country? The Jews have suffered. They were subject to regular discrimination at best and murder at most. The one place in the entire world that Jews were neither discriminated against nor subject to pogrom was the Muslim world. That's why, under the protection of the Muslims, the Jews left Europe. Palestine, that was wiped off the map when Britain granted you somebody else's country, had Jews living side by side with Christians and Muslims for century upon century without the slightest trace of discrimination or violence or pogrom. So, what's happened is that Christian anti-Semitism in Europe, which massacred 6 million Jews in the greatest crime in human history, was paid for not by the Christian countries of Europe that either practiced or turned a blind eye to that anti-Semitism, but was paid by the very people who were completely innocent of that Holocaust, who had never persecuted the Jews, who had never pogromed the Jews. Britain had no right to give away somebody else's country. It seems to me an all-round injustice, don't you think, Alex?
Yeah.